Hey everybody, welcome to MJB Podcast. I am Scott Janney, your host. I'm also the CEO and co-founder of Magazine Jukebox that helps fund all this fun stuff. We are a digital entertainment source for businesses. So think car dealerships, coffee shops, hospitals. When someone comes in who's choosing your business to have work done or whatever it is, they actually can be entertained with Magazine Jukebox through games, magazines, trivia, without having to download another app. But it's funny because I'm not going to sit here and talk about app fatigue because our guest Andrew here has an app, and I'm super excited to have him here, part of the show. Welcome to the show, Andrew.
Happy to be here. Just drank 3 cups of coffee. Just ready to go.
Wired up and tapped in. That's great. That's what I like to hear. All right. Well, awesome. And before we dive into everything about Andrew and his company, Vix, we are going to take a minute out to do what I like to do, which is called LinkedIn Moment. LinkedIn Moment is when we bring positive posts that we find on LinkedIn and we share them, and almost verbatim. Sometimes when they're really long, I can't do the whole thing, but what I like to always say is if you don't want me mentioning you, then don't be my friend on LinkedIn or don't post anything positive. Then I won't mention you. Okay, so first one here, over at our partners, Magazine Jukebox, you guys are going to see a lot of this. Our partners is MD Anderson Cancer Center out of Texas. And this was a big one for us over at Magazine Jukebox. Huge brand, doing amazing work. But they posted this, and it just drove home the desire and passion that these doctors and nurses have. So he wrote, it's Mark Clemens, who's looks like he's a doctor actually it says Associate Vice President. And so he said, yesterday, Category 1 Hurricane Beryl passed over the top of MD Anderson Cancer Center. And today at 7 a.m., the operating rooms on the main campus were fully open, performing some of the most complex surgeries in oncology. Many of the I don't even know what that word is, staff woke up in home without electricity and drove to work needing to take detours or driving around down trees to ensure we could still provide the highest level of care for our patients. It keeps going on, but I just want to say good job to all of you. Thank you for what you do, and what you do certainly matters, and people's lives are changing or being saved because of what you're doing. And it just shows the commitment right after, like you're forgetting about what's going on at your own home and the chaos going on at your home, and you're going to be focused on making sure that those patients are taken care of. So good job, MD Anderson. There's a reason why we partner with you guys. You guys are incredible. Okay, so now some local news here. This is really exciting, and I had to share this, but Tim Ryan, my buddy, over at Innovate Hampton Roads, he wrote, "This is big. We've been working so hard to educate the rest of the world about the quality of our startups and ecosystems. This is our time to shine. We need you, founders. We need you, community. More info to follow soon if you have any questions." So it looks like they are going to have a Startup World Cup, which is bringing a bunch of startups together to be able to share their ideas and work together and pitch. This is huge. As many know, with Magazine Jukebox, we had to pitch our product many times to close our seed round, and closing that seed round was really important, and it's really hard. So exposure like this is huge. So great job. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Mark. And that will wrap up our LinkedIn moment, which means the best part of the show. It's all you, Andrew. We are going to be talking about... So I have in the house Mr. Andrew Choi, and he is the CEO and co-founder of Beige. Am I saying that right? Okay.
Yep.
And Vix is an app. It's a fitness app. And for those of you who know me, know that I have quite a bit of a fitness journey. Over the last year and a half, I've lost a little over 75 pounds and continue to get more and more healthy. And just recently, I dove into Orange Theory, so we could talk about that type of fitness. It's not, they have an app, which is kind of ironic. If you actually look at their app, their logo is almost identical to HubSpot CRM logo. You got to look at the two. Like, someone's got to change it up. I had to like move them on my phone because I was getting them confused. But the journey that I went through is not an easy one, and it's really hard. So apps like you've created to help people not only become healthy or be healthier than where they are, stronger, are critically important. So Andrew, I'm going to have you do a much better job at explaining your company, explaining who you are, and why are you even doing what you do. So, Andrew, welcome to the show, and excited to hear all about this. So let's start off with, how do we even know each other here? Okay, so we're here in Norfolk. We're at the Startup Studios. In fact, of all the places where a fitness person should meet someone who's trying to lose weight was in a kitchen. And and I think actually you were maybe half asleep, because I think you tend to work a lot, and I think you were really, really tired that day. And but you were making something, and I was probably eating something I shouldn't have. That was ruining everything I worked for. So so tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so thank you for the introduction.
Yeah.
So my name is Andrew. I went to high school in Korea, and I'm on this journey with my two co-founders from college. We're making this AI workout that tracks and improves your form. And funny story that we actually had a previous startup before this. It was called Reserved, basically Airbnb but for parking.
Okay.
So my co-founder Kai, he's the one that came up with the idea where homeowners can rent out, their driveways for.
Wait, is that still around?
No, that got dissolved. But
I literally have beach property that we always say, like, when it's not rented out, and we're always trying, because we could park 3 cars there at any time.
Yeah.
And we're like, man, if we could figure out how to do that, we would be making bank on those empty days, because people are always looking for parking at the beach.
Yeah, we were like given suggestions like Atlantic Avenue and stuff, but it was a great idea. But unfortunately, some conflicts occurred then. So now we're on this new journey to create, change the fitness industry and everything.
Love
yeah.
it.
And
But being anything startup, building a business, bringing it to life, is not easy, and we're going to talk about that. But I want to go back just real quick.
yeah.
You said you did high school where?
Oh, in South Korea.
South Korea.
Yeah.
So you did high school in South Korea, but you were born in America. So you went to South Korea, and is that where your family's from?
Yes.
Okay, so your family's from there, and what was that experience like?
It was so good. Like here in the U.S., you need a car to get anywhere, but in Korea, you get nice, clean subways, and you can go anywhere. All these outings, super close by. My friends and I, every day after school, we go to watch a movie or so, or go to a PC cafe, and after that, go to like 3 other cafes and chicken, and it's so much fun. But
Yeah.
I went to high school in America, Milton, back in Georgia, and there's like nothing there.
Yeah.
So just typical things, just like, oh, go to your friend's house, hang out, stuff like that.
So what got you to Norfolk?
So my buddy Kai, he owns a property here in Norfolk, and we just, all of us were scattered, but we're like, hey, let's just come together, let's work together under the same roof, and just pump this product out together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice choice of words there. Pump this product out. That's your pump, right? So
Oh yeah.
all right. So first app launched, didn't succeed, but now you're in the second one. So you're a glutton for punishment, right? Like all founders always want to be punished. Like entrepreneurship truly is the only career you could choose where you can work 80 hours just so you don't have to work 40. And so it's such a mixed bag, because you're going to do all the things that everybody else is not willing or wanting to do. And so now talk to me about, Vix, what exactly is it? What does it do, and why would someone want to download this app?
Yeah, so Vix is just your own AI personal trainer that actually tracks your form and improves it. And so our end goal is to have this kind of multimodal app that anyone can download from anywhere around the world, really. Like anyone with a smartphone has the ability to have their own personal trainer that can correct your form if you're doing it improperly. It will track your personal statistics, and you can take on all these fun challenges and have a social aspect to it. And it's really just to promote fitness for everyone. I know that the barrier to high-tech fitness is very high given the current costs in this economy. Sure. But for this, very convenient, and it's there for anyone who needs it.
Yeah, fitness, getting in shape is super expensive. I mean, to have a personal trainer alone, I mean, you're talking maybe $400 a week if you want to see them at least 2 or 3 times a week. And it's only getting worse, right? Like it's only going to get more and more expensive. Funny story. I got to share this with you because as I'm listening here, when I was, I don't know, 16 or 20 pounds, something like that. When my wife and I, bless her, she's loved me through being smaller to being big. So, and now I'm getting smaller again. So she's like, oh, there he is. I missed him. But they, we were looking at buying a gym actually in Anytime Fitness, and and I was like, great, I'm gonna be that gym, fitness gym owner who's completely out of shape. Like that makes zero sense. So, what's the passion behind this for you guys? Are you guys all into fitness? Are you guys? Is this what drove this passion?
Yeah, so for the product itself, we were, in the stage of ideation, what makes sense, what do we do? And then my buddy Leo, our CTO, he's never worked out a day in his life. They're a typical software programmer that just sits in a chair all day and codes.
Don't stereotype these people. Unbelievable. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, he wanted to get into fitness. So he
Yeah.
just built this application, tracked his pose, counted his reps. We're like, wow, we forget our rep counts. So we went on like Reddit and like asked like, hey, do you forget your rep counts? And we got a bunch of responses of people being like, oh yeah, I forget my rep count. So that was enough to go off of. And then so we built the product and then the whole journey there. In terms of our entrepreneurial spirit in this, you have one life.
Yeah.
Are you going to spend it every day doing the same cycle and then finally live life when you're 60 and get go into retirement and stuff like that?
Right.
So might as well do something exciting, something that could change the world. I think that's why, entrepreneurs like us, that's our whole passion and drive into this. It's like, I don't, if I'm going to die, might as well do something amazing that could help a
Love
bunch
it.
of people.
Yep.
And yeah, you can only do that if you actually do it instead
Yeah.
of going on Twitter or something or X and just be like, hey, like someone should build this. It's
Right.
like, oh, we're actually building it. We're talking to customers, and yeah, like after a bunch of hard work and luck, we see the fruition of our work, and we're like, this is awesome. This could change the whole world as we know it. So yeah.
Man, this is awesome. So listen, those of you who are listening or watching this, I want to make sure you caught something here, because if you're thinking about going into entrepreneurship or creating something, one thing that a lot of people do is that they tend to think like, oh, that would be really great for me, but they never really figure out if there's a product market fit for enough users to actually make any traction on this, right? And so you guys used a free service, which you went on Reddit and you posted the question, and you received feedback from people probably all over the world. And instead of you just saying, hey, this didn't work for us, you went to make sure that, hey, this isn't working for everybody else too. And when you received that feedback, then you knew, okay, this is a problem, we can create a solution. And a lot of times we tend to put solutions ahead of problems, and you can't create the problem. You've got to create, and that was a big part for Magazine Jukebox is, and our board member, his name's Dave, one of our board members, his name's Dave, and Dave is the former president of the Eastern region for Allstate Insurance Company. And, to understand, he was like the fourth man in charge. So like for a multi-billion-dollar company, to be the number 4 man in charge, and I hope I'm saying that right. Maybe it was the third, maybe it was the fifth, but it's very high up there. And I remember he came to me and he said, "Can I give you some unsolicited advice?" And I said, "Sure, anything from you, I want to listen to, because you're from a Fortune, I think they're a Fortune 100 or maybe even a Fortune 50 company." And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So he said, "What problem are you solving? Like, what exactly are you doing? What is, like, it feels to me that you're a solution searching for a problem." And he goes, "And I think you need to figure out what problem you're solving first, and then come after the problem." And that really opened up our eyes. And it sounds like you guys, so there's this thing that our COO says, carnal knowledge. Like, it seems like you and your founders had this carnal knowledge of knowing, like, hey, we need to check first. Like, don't just dive into this. Let's see if there's some grounds here. Okay, so I want to make sure our listeners heard that part, because that's super important. So now you guys come up with this app, come up with this idea. Has any of you experienced launching? I mean, so your last company, like launching an app on iOS or launching on what is it, Droid? I guess it is. what are they called now? I don't know.
Android?
Can you tell that I'm an iOS user? Like, I mean, like,
Yeah.
can I make it any more obvious? All right, okay, so Droid, Google, whatever. Okay, which out of those two is harder to launch on?
I from personal experience, I'd say maybe within this specific area, Android, because
Android was harder. Okay,
oh yeah, so we didn't just stop at the Reddit post. Like Leo, he made the app in like a couple days, and then we went out to Virginia Beach, and then we just filled a huge cooler full of drinks. It was summer, so we're like, you know what? It's hot. People probably want cold drinks, so we're like, we got out with like this janky sign being like, hey, free drinks if you try out this app, and we got a bunch of feedback from that.
man, I love this. Hold on, no,
Yeah.
I absolutely love this. I tell people all the time, like, if you want to find who's going to be successful, are the ones that are the most creative, and figuring out how to get in front of potential customers or a test market. Man, this brings back so many memories, and I hate this. There's this video, if anybody wants to watch it on YouTube, it's called the Me Monster. So I try not to be that Me Monster, and the whole idea is like every time you say something, I'm going to say something like, "Oh, well, we did this," or like I won't, But there are things like you're bringing these memories back, and the whole premise of the Me Monster is funny. The guys, it's like at this dinner table,
Yeah.
and the guy he's an astronaut, but he doesn't tell anybody, and so everybody's like, "Well, I did this, and I did this, and I did this," and then he goes, "Well, I landed on the moon." Like, who's gonna top that? Like, I need to. So that was the joke of the Me Monster. But anyways, they okay. So this is awesome. I love this, and I want to. So who came up with that idea?
Oh, I think all of us came from all of us where we're just pondering like, okay, how do we get customers online? No one's, that's kind of rare. Reddit hates like any form of advertisements on there. So we're like, what's like the
Good
most
to know.
effective?
Good to know.
Oh yeah. So we're like, okay, like lots of people at the beach. It's summer. How do we get people cold drinks? Okay.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Oh yeah.
So I love this so much. So okay. So and from there, what did you guys walk away from that day? Would you say you walked away encouraged or discouraged?
Oh, extremely encouraged.
Awesome.
Yeah, we were before that we're just like, oh yeah, forgetting reps, that's an issue that we could solve with this app right now. But then we're talking to real people, and we're not asking questions by being like, oh, like, would you buy this or would this help you? It's more like, okay, like, what are you struggling in your personal fitness journey? Like, you're working out, it's not working. What's the issue right there? And the highest response is like form feedback. I don't know if I'm doing my workouts correctly or not. So it's, we learn three things: proper form, motivation, and accountability are like the main pillars for everyone's personal fitness. And so now we're like, okay, well, a lot of people are saying form feedback or like feedback on their workout form. So let's shift over to that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna be the big guy here. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is where a lot of times when you're overweight or you're out of shape, a lot of this can be very intimidating and also embarrassing. And I remember what changed it for me was a former employee of mine. He took a side picture of me, and it showed my stomach and how big it was, and I was so embarrassed by that. And then I didn't know, but then he also posted on social. I mean, he thought he was doing the right thing, and I don't blame. He didn't do anything wrong. But man, I was like, would you have posted that same picture of yourself? Like that, but that was like this eye opener. And of course, I'm a dad, I'm a husband. So I want to be healthy for my wife. I want to be healthy for my children. I want to be healthy for myself. So is your app, would you say it's more designed for those who are already in fitness and just wanting to find their peak performance? Or would you say that it's for those who are just starting their fitness journey as well? And I share that, and it's okay to not be both. I want to make sure that my audience knows that, like, there are apps, I'm sure, and there are programs that are for people that were like me 2 years ago, and then there's those who are more. I don't expect someone who is a WWE wrestler who has more muscles than I can imagine. I don't expect them to, use an app like I would, right? So can you talk talk through that so that way those who are listening, we know what we're targeting here.
Yeah. So for this short term, we do want to focus more on fitness beginners because once you understand proper form, even if it's basic as a squat or a push-up, it can be transitioned into all these different exercises. And so you see a lot of these people who don't even know the basic forms. And so not only will they, start to learn proper form, they'll be able to see their own personal statistics over time. They can take on fun challenges. And so this is more of like an entry level. Also, just like as a disclaimer, like our goal is not to like replace personal trainers. This is an intro level, an entryway into fitness.
Awesome.
Because you can download an app. That's the easiest part. But like finding a personal trainer and everyone like that might be a little bit difficult. So fitness beginners who are interested, who've tried out all these different apps but they're not working out, like we'll be a great entry. I also want to highlight our post tracker. It's like the most accurate post tracker on the market. All these other apps, it's saturated with AI workout planners.
Right.
For me personally, finding a workout isn't really a core issue. You have ChatGPT for that. But for there to be some sort of convenient application where it lets you know if you're doing the form incorrectly or not, it's vital for fitness beginners, just to avoid injuries in the future.
Interesting. So, I like to hear that because I for those who are just getting into the fitness journey, it's not it can be daunting, and so to make it easier, and I love what you're saying because I agree. Like when I go to do squats, like man, they stink. Like oh my gosh. But like after you're done, when you got a good burnout because those and it's so funny. It's not the next day. It's 2 days later when you really feel it. But when you do it right, like you're feeling it appropriately versus when you do it wrong, that could create serious injury. It can debilitate people. I mean, all you have to do is surf on YouTube and you can see all kinds of tragedies happening. So where, like, what would be the next, like, so you guys just launched your app how many days ago?
For the latest technology with the latest post tracker, like 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of metrics are you guys gathering or would be important to you at this point, having just launched this?
So mainly the number of downloads that we're getting as well as views on the storefront page. What's like the conversion, people who visited the store versus and then to download, and then to like conversions to like subscriptions.
Yeah.
Those are like the most important metrics for us.
Did you so there's three of you, right? So did you three consult with an attorney first, like create your partnership and make sure everything's how it should be, or are you guys still kind of on a shake hands kind of a model?
Oh, we use one of John Paris.
Okay.
He provided one of the operating agreement templates that he uses, and we just made some minor alterations to that, and then signed it. Done with it.
Yeah. So, have you guys ever? I would encourage you. So, this is my previous life, as I like to call it, the insurance companies that I've owned with my wife for the past decade. If you're in a partnership with someone, a couple of things. One is make sure you have an exit clause. I always recommend that because you want to make sure that everybody's equitable. When you go to exit, everybody's getting paid out properly, right? The second thing is having what is called a buy-sell agreement. And what a buy-sell agreement does, and this is specific for partners, okay? Because imagine, Andrew, you and I are partners in a business, okay? And I'm married to my wife, Lauren, and let's say you get married to whoever, okay? So we'll just give me a name. Just pick a random name.
John.
Okay. So you're married, John, and I'm married to Lauren, okay? So when you do that, then something happens to you, right? I'm not in business with John. I'm in business with you. So what happens is I have a policy, a life insurance policy, that I'm paying for on you to make sure that policy that I will get paid on, and this sounds very morbid, so hang in there with me, people, but at your demise, I will get paid. I use that money to pay John. And I'm saying, John, you're no longer in this picture. Now I own the full company. And that's what a buy-sell agreement does. So that way you're not you're in business with someone, but you're not in business with who they get married to or who they have a long-term relationship with or whatever. And because that can really complicate, because John may have no understanding whatsoever on the business, can't do what you're doing, but would still expect to be paid, the same way you were getting paid. And that's not going to be the case because now I'm no longer getting the same performance out of John as I was you. Does that make sense? Yeah. Or same thing with Lauren. Like Lauren may not have any know-how whatsoever, of my of the business, and you're not in business with Lauren. In fact, maybe you and Lauren don't even like each other. Like, we go to, oftentimes founders go out to eat together, and she may say something you don't like, and like, oh, I don't want to do anything. Like, I want nothing to do with it. I die, and then all of a sudden, now you're in business with her.
Yeah.
Got to think about those things, okay? Yeah. So that's unsolicited advice from Scott Janney. All right, so that's my old previous life. Okay, so and I know that we could talk for hours, so I want to make sure that I'm getting out. What is your ideal client?
So right now we're targeting full-time employees. They're actively trying out all these different applications for them, but it's just not working. And so someone who wants to save time, someone who wants quality fitness care, something similar to like a personal trainer, but they don't know if they should commit that much money into smart gyms or personal trainers. So yeah, more of an entryway, someone who's looking into that. And yeah, that's our ideal client for right now.
Hey, can you walk me through real quick how exactly does it work? I download